Have you ever felt that your carefully built world was collapsing like a house of cards? Imagine for a moment having everything a human could desire: immense wealth, a vast, loving family, and a body of perfect health. And then, in the blink of an eye, you lose it all. All you are left with is agony, humiliation, and a devastating illness. In such a dark moment, what would you do? Today, I will tell you the story of a man whose patience shook the very foundations of the heavens. This is not just a historical chronicle. It is a healing balm for every restless soul. Long, long ago, in the land of ancient Syria, lived Ayub, alayhi salam. He was a chosen prophet of the Almighty, blessed with riches beyond imagination, miles of fertile orchards, thousands of livestock, 12 beautiful children, and a physical strength that was unmatched. But above all, he had a heart that beat only for his Creator. Ayub alayhi salam was a man of such character that no beggar ever left his door empty-handed, and no soul ever felt unloved in his presence.
But listen closely. When someone becomes so beloved to the divine, the forces of darkness begin to burn with envy. Iblis, the accursed, looked at the blessed life of Ayub, and his heart filled with poisonous jealousy. He challenged the Almighty, saying, "O Creator, Ayub only worships you because you have given him a life of royalty. He loves the comforts you provide, not you. Strip him of his wealth, and I swear he will turn his back on you in an instant." To prove the unwavering devotion of his servant, the Almighty allowed the trial to begin. And so, a storm of tragedy was unleashed. One day, while Ayub was deep in prayer, news arrived. A fire had swept through his vast orchards. In a heartbeat, years of labor turned into cold ash. Then, a plague struck his thousands of cattle, leaving them dead in the fields. Ayub simply looked toward the sky and whispered, "The Lord gave, and the Lord has taken away. Praise be to him." But Satan was not finished. In a final, horrific blow, the great mansion where his 12 children were gathered,
Satan saw that wealth and family were not enough to break Ayub alayhi salam. So he launched his final, most brutal attack. He struck Ayub with a devastating affliction. Overnight, the prophet's body was covered in horrific sores, ulcers, and painful boils. The agony was beyond description. He could neither sit nor lie down. His skin began to decay. It is said that the wounds were so deep that they were infested. Yet, Ayub did not even brush away the insects, viewing even his pain as a test from his Lord. The stench of his decaying flesh became so overwhelming that his lifelong friends, his relatives, and even the townspeople began to shun him. They declared him cursed, and in a cruel act of betrayal, they drove him out of the city. He was cast away, left to survive on a heap of ash and refuse outside the city walls. He had nothing, no money, no children, no health, no home. But friends, even in the darkest night, one lamp remained burning. By his side stayed his devoted wife, Rahima. She became his only hands, his only feet, and his only comfort in a world that had forgotten him. 18 long years passed in this state of utter misery. Rahima worked in the houses of strangers, doing menial labor, just to buy a morsel of bread for her husband. One day, Satan tried to poison Rahima's heart as well. He appeared in the form of a man and whispered, "Why do you serve this dying man? Your God has forgotten you." Rahima shouted him away, but her desperation was reaching its limit. One day, unable to find work and having no food, Rahima made a heart-wrenching decision: to
feed her starving husband, she sold her most beautiful feature, her long, flowing hair. When she returned, and Ayub alayhi salam saw her shorn hair, he was devastated. Satan seized this moment of weakness, whispering to Ayub alayhi salam that perhaps his wife had committed a sin to obtain the food. In a moment of intense emotional and physical pain, Ayub alayhi salam made a vow that if he ever regained his health, he would strike his wife 100 times as punishment. But immediately, his soul cried out to his Creator. He whispered the prayer that would echo through eternity. Truly, distress has seized me, and you are the most merciful of all who show mercy.
The 18 years of trial were over in an instant. The angel Gabriel descended, bringing tidings of joy from the heavens. The Almighty commanded, Ayub, strike the ground with your foot. With his last ounce of strength, the prophet struck the dry earth, and a miracle unfolded. A spring of crystal clear, ice-cold water gushed forth from the barren dust. The Lord commanded, wash in this water and drink from it. The moment Ayub drank the water, the poison within him vanished. As he bathed in the spring, every sore, every scar, every trace of illness dissolved into the water. On that mound of ash, there was no longer a sick old man, but a strong, handsome youth, radiating a light that brightened the desert. When Rahima returned, she could not recognize her own husband. She searched for the sick man she loved, crying out for him. Ayub smiled and said, Rahima, it is I. I am Ayub. The Almighty not only restored his health, but gave them back their youth, blessed them with more children, and doubled their wealth, returning everything that was lost. But one promise remained, the vow to strike his wife. Ayub alayhi salam was troubled. How could he strike the woman who had stayed by him when the whole world had abandoned him? The Almighty, in his infinite wisdom and love for Rahima, provided a way. He told Ayub alayhi salam, take a bundle of thin grass with 100 stalks and strike her gently just once. Thus your vow will be fulfilled, and she will not be harmed. What a beautiful testament to divine mercy. Friends, what does this magnificent story teach us? Patience is not just about waiting. It is about how you behave while you wait. It is about keeping your heart connected to the divine, even when the clouds of tragedy are so thick you cannot see the sun. Remember, no matter how deep the darkness, the sun must rise again. Your trials are not meant to break you, but to purify you. If this story of unshakable faith has touched your heart, please share it with someone who is going through a hard time. Like the video, and don't forget to subscribe to Guiding Glow English Tales for more lessons from the soul. Stay strong, stay patient, and never lose hope. Goodbye.